On February 20th, I was going through these colonies back here, these Apimayes, and I ended up making an unexpected split on one of the colonies that was packed out with bees, and it was ready to be split. Let's go check on the two colonies and see what we have. The first one I want to check on is the little 7-frame nuke that we pulled off. It's got bee activity, the bees seem perfectly happy, and so let's look in here and see what we have. Now it is March 30th, so it's been several weeks. I've peeked in on them a couple of times. I originally thought I pulled the queen into this colony, but when I checked on them a few days later, I saw some queen cells in here. And so I let them be. I came back a few days later after that, hoping to find a queen, and I didn't. And so here we are today. It's been plenty of time now. If there's not a queen in here now, we got to figure something out. Looks like we got some bees. I'm hoping to see some nice brood, some eggs, and everything we need to have us a nice colony. Let's see, from February 20th until March 30th is, what, somewhere between 5 and 6 weeks maybe? Something like that. Pretty sure this was a frame of new foundation when we made the split. Trying to draw it out. Hoping to be able to go through this colony without having to suit up, but they're a little bit agitated, so who knows. I'll try to be in and out of here pretty quick. I hope we have some eggs in here. They're bringing in pollen. We got some honey around the top, some nectar. The weather's been a little bizarre, so the flow's been a little bizarre. I do believe last time that I was in this thing a couple of weeks ago, I put a frame that had some brood in here with eggs. And there is a cell right here that's opened up. So there has been a queen to emerge from this cell. So if they made a queen out of that, then she may still be a virgin, I guess, theoretically. I can't remember what the date was on that. So they might just be slow getting a queen if they had to make another queen out of that frame. It's starting to get a little dark out here. The bees are working the frames quite calmly. I'm gonna be a little disappointed. It's not looking super promising to have a laying queen in here right now. It was really strange because when I went in here a few days after I made the split just to confirm that the queen was in here, there were some cells in here. Had they made a bunch of cells, I came back a few days later, if those cells had had a chance to emerge, and I'd hoped to have a mated queen, and I didn't see any cells, so they had broken those down. And then I put a frame of brood from the next door neighbor colony in here. You saw that queen cell that had emerged just a minute ago. So my guess is they must have gone ahead and made another queen on that cell right there that I broke down. And she's probably trying to get mated if that's the case. They don't seem overly agitated or mean, which is a good sign, I think. If they got a little virgin queen running around in here. But this is gonna be their last chance. I'm gonna give them 2 more weeks. If we don't have a queen in here in 2 weeks, I'm gonna have to do something because, you know, we'll be in trouble then. Oh, yep, we got us a little queen. Here she is right here. She looks like a little virgin. I don't know if she started to get mated or not, but she's a pretty little queen, but she's very young. So the thing to do now is we've got plenty of food in here. You saw we had some nectar, some honey, and plenty of pollen. One thing we could do now is just see if she'll get mated and check back in a couple of weeks. My guess is they'll be just fine. And if I come in here in a couple of weeks and I just feel like they're struggling, even if she started laying, I feel like I need to add some more resources, like some more brood or whatever. I can always easily pull from another hive and do that and give them an immediate boost. That's how it goes sometimes. Let's go over to that bigger colony, the donor colony, and see what we have in there. Sometimes it just doesn't work the way you want, but I've found most of the time things work out pretty good. And if they don't, we can always recombine or try again. Here's the donor colony that we pulled the split out of, and it's also been pretty active. Has seemed to be okay. The nuke is right over there, the small colony that we just looked into. So let's go in this one and see what we have. I went ahead and opened this up and pulled the honey super off and put it over here. Really not a lot of activity in the honey super to speak of. You know, the population seems to be down a little bit, which is what you would expect since they, have been trying to get a new queen in here. I'm gonna be a little disappointed if we don't have a successful split here, but sometimes that just happens. I think I see a little patch of eggs right in here, but let me see if I can see a little more clear indication of something. Man, it's getting hard to see. Oh yeah, I'm seeing some eggs for sure. Good deal. We probably just have a brand new queen laying in here. It's a lot of pollen and food up in this box, but I'm almost certain I have some eggs. Now in this colony, the queen should be a little further along if it was from the original split, because that other one I think had to do another queen on top of the first cells that they had developed. I am definitely seeing eggs though. It's just really too dark to really probably show them to the camera. Technically, that's all I need to do to confirm that we have a queen is see eggs. But I'm actually going to go down in that bottom box and see what's going on down there just to show you all what's happening. I don't get too bent out of shape if I don't see the queen, as long as we have evidence of the queen. Of course, it's always fun to see those young queens, or any queen for that matter. We're in the bottom box now. These bees were quite feisty previously, and they don't seem to be quite as bad now, so maybe, just maybe, we're going to have some more gentle genetics. We'll see. As you know, if you've watched the channel for any amount of time, that's kind of my goal, is to have more gentle bees that are more enjoyable to work. I think we're just getting into these bees a little bit early to really see a significant amount of brood. Seems like we'd be seeing more though, as long as it's been. The weather's been really wonky, so you just never know. And who knows, maybe we're not gonna have a success here. I did see eggs up above, so we've had an inconsistent flow, which happens in the spring here. They'll be bringing in the nectar for a little while, then it kind of turns off and on, so I just really wish I could see better. Not seeing any real brood. Mostly what I've seen is eggs. What I've seen has mostly been in the upper box where I've seen the eggs. This is mostly a food box here. A little bit, I'm just a little bit disappointed we didn't see more evidence in here of laying queens. But just gonna give them a little more time. I'll pull a frame out here and just confirm one more time that I see some eggs. The bees are getting a little chippy. I went and got a light here, so maybe I can look and can see the eggs a little better here. Oh yeah, there's eggs in there. Oh yeah, we definitely have eggs. This really helps for sure. We've got eggs both in worker cells and in drone cells. We got a few cells that have a couple eggs in there, 2 or 3 eggs in there. They are in the center though, which indicates it's probably a queen. So what that tells me is that we have a young queen that's just getting started, because sometimes they have a little hard time just laying one egg to start off with. But all up in here, we've just got single eggs. So I believe we've had a successful split here. Just like the other one, I'm gonna give them a couple 3 weeks and check back again. Expect to see sheets of brood in this colony. Oh yeah. Almost every cell that is not nectar or honey has an egg in it. Pull it up closer. Trying to move it at different angles. You can see some of those eggs in there. Now, if you wonder what these strings are right here, I think it's just from where we probably did a cutout one time. We had this like fishing line in here to help hold the comb in place. I honestly am not sure. I don't remember. So this frame's been around a while, but it looks fine, and they're still laying in it. But some of these cells are a little bit rounded, so we probably need to cycle this out before too long. So really, we have probably the equivalent of 1.5 full frames of brood in here as of now. And I bet we've got eggs right here too. Yes, we do. So this one's not quite as full of eggs as the other one, but she is doing a good job. She's really laying eggs just about everywhere she can. She's probably just started laying in the last 2 or 3 days, since there's no real milk brood or otherwise more developed brood in here. So if she's got that many frames laid up in just 2 or 3 days, that's a pretty darn good sign of a young, motivated queen. Let's try this one. It looks like I'm seeing some eggs in here that are not laying down yet on their sides, which would mean that she's kind of just barely laid on this frame a little bit. She's probably just been laying on this frame today. So that's good news. We saw the virgin queen in that other colony, and we saw eggs in this colony. So I think we've had a successful split. I'll be checking on them throughout the season, see how they do. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I think this one worked. If y'all want to see the video where I did that original split on February 20th, y'all can watch that video right here. Y'all take care, be safe, and we'll catch you on the next one.